Hello guys, I'm on track to retire with over $3 million buying VTI, which is Vanguard's US Total Stock Market ETF. And previously I made a video on only buying VOO or Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF in a standard brokerage account. However, I recently started and opened up a 401k account with my employer and was given many options to choose from investment-wise, such as REITs, bonds, and ETFs. And I ultimately went with VTI to live and retire financially free with no worries in the world, hopefully on a beach in Hawaii and driving a fancy car. Now in this video, we're going to see if you can truly retire off only buying VTI, since the average American needs around $1.3 million to retire comfortably, and why I've added VTI as my only holding in my new investment 401k account. Now my two goals with VTI is to not only live off the dividends I receive quarterly to pay off expenses in retirement, but to also live off the huge nest egg I'll build up in retirement due to the power of compound interest. Now for those of you wondering, well, what's a 401k account? Well, it's an investment account with your employer that has many tax benefits, such as reducing your taxable income, and that money grows and compounds in a tax-deferred way, so you actually don't pay taxes on it until you withdraw from it in retirement. Now why I chose Vanguard's VTI as my forever and only holding in my 401k investment account is for many reasons. Well, for one is due to its really good diversification. Since VTI tracks the US Total Stock Market Index, that means that it owns all the large cap, mid cap, and small cap stocks in the United States. That totals over 3,861 stocks inside of it, so you are very diversified with many different stocks of the biggest and best names in the stock market, such as Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Tesla, and thousands of more. And with this diversification in many different sectors, if a single stock inside of it goes to zero, that's completely fine and okay, because you have over 3,000 other stocks that can give super high and positive returns. Another reason why I own VTI is for its high and reliable returns. We can see that in the past 10 years, VTI has generated on an annual basis 12.29%. So every year on average, VTI gives 12.29% returns to its investors. And since inception of 2001, VTI has given 8.07% annually. Now this might seem low for the inception, but this also includes the Great Recession of 2008. So if you invested $10,000 into VTI 10 years ago, that investment would have compounded to over $31,000. And if we look at the 1-year return of VTI compared to the S&P 500, we can see that VTI is barely underperforming the S&P 500 with a 14.08% gain, while the S&P 500 is up 14.72% on the year. And in the past 5 years, VTI is just trailing the S&P 500 once again with its 68.82% return, while the S&P 500 is up an astonishing 75.62% in the past 5 years. And overall, in the past 10 years, VTI still delivers amazing returns with over 207% gains, as well as the S&P 500 with 224% returns. Now, if we take a look at the momentum grade of VTI, we can see that Seeking Alpha gives VTI an A for its momentum. Now by momentum, we mean how good is VTI at giving returns and profits to its investors. Now we could see in the past 5 years, VTI is up 68%, in the past 3 years it's up 43%, in the past years up 14%, and overall it does give really high returns compared to all the other ETFs in its category. And Seeking Alpha even gives VTI a buy for its quant rating, and the ETF grade is overall looking really good with an A on its momentum, an A+ for expenses, A- for dividends, A+ and A+ for liquidity and risk, and overall it's always going to be an ETF to buy and hold forever. Another great thing about VTI is its super low expense ratio of 0.03%, so for every $10,000 invested into VTI, you will pay $3 annually. Now this deserves an A+ expense grade by Seeking Alpha. Now how I will achieve over $3 million inside of VTI is due to my super long time horizon of over 40 years, which will take advantage of the power of compound interest and always reinvesting your dividends that you receive quarterly inside of VTI. So if I took my own plan of investing $600 per month for the next 40 years until I reach retirement, which is the age of 65, at a 10% estimated annual interest rate, in 40 years I'll have over $3 million to enjoy and spend on practically whatever my heart desires. In the future, if it averages around that dividend yield of around 1.4 to 1.5%, I can receive an additional $44,000 a year in passive income from the form of dividends. Now, in my personal opinion, I think you can retire off of only buying VTI, since VTI includes large cap stocks, but it also has mid cap and small cap stocks, so you won't miss growth if a stock that no one has ever heard of all of a sudden rockets in price and becomes the next Tesla. Because unlike the S&P 500, where a stock has to be at a certain market cap to be included in the index, VTI will include the stock regardless of its market cap. And VTI even includes real estate or REITs among the many different sectors it has allocated to it, so you are invested in many different avenues. Now, since studies show that Americans need around $1.3 million to retire comfortably, I think VTI is a great choice since you could do just $9 a day, which adds up to around $270 a month. Now, if you had a 40-year time horizon, that investment can net you well over $1.4 million, which is well over the comfortable limit. And in addition to $1.4 million, you will also receive over $20,000 in dividends from VTI. Now, if you are later in your investing career, you can just increase the amount of monthly payments that you do to VTI if you have a shorter time horizon. Now, overall with Vanguard's VTI, I think VTI is great because of its great diversification, its reliable and stable returns to investors, and of its healthy dividend yield, which can be amazing for passive income. And VTI, in my opinion, deserves a spot in anybody's portfolio. It can even serve as one set it and forget it forever ETF. Now that about wraps up this video about VTI and why it's an amazing ETF for the long term. If you guys like this video, please give it a like, please, as cute puppy did, and comment down below if you are a VTI investor or if you like VTI as much as I do. Now, next Friday is my paycheck where I will deduct a portion of it into VTI in my 401k. So wish me luck on that, and hopefully you guys have an amazing day and continue to crush it in the stock market. Peace.